I think it does it really well. And I think this is a great a moment to introduce our third speaker. Again, our founder and president of the Laszlo Institute, Dr. Ervin Laszlo. And I really should say Doctors Ervin Laszlo, because I don't think we can count the number of honorary Ph.D.s he's received, along with his other honors and awards, including the Japanese Peace Prize, the Assisi Mandir of Peace Prize in 2006, the fact that he was nominated in 2 years in a row for the Nobel Peace Prize, that he's written over 101 books, not to mention innumerable papers, but also been a member of numerous scientific and cultural bodies active at the UN, internationally, great American universities such as Princeton, and also a founder of the Club of Budapest, an organization looking to actually draw together these cultural strands that we're seeing in this conversation here. Ervin, picking up on this idea of plausibility structures, you've been going, I would say, to use the phrase hammer and tong, at one of the fundamental to our culture, the plausibility structure of modern science, or what we call science, and really working to upgrade our understanding of how actually science itself provides one of the most profound and powerful plausibility structures for this new paradigm of inherent unity, of our not only deep interconnectedness, but also the fact that we're not merely discrete, finite, separate beings, but we're existing all together in an active matrix that's a living, vibrant plenum. How do we translate that plenum, that new scientific view, into a cultural transformation that leads to a real restoration of a truly human, cooperative, and internationally networked, locally based politics?
Well, Bill, using science as our key to the better world is very optimistic. I think not everybody will always act on the basis of scientific insights, although it certainly helps. But there is something else, and I'd like to talk about something else. We talked about the mystical state. We talked about the tremendous challenge that is in front of us, and the prospects of actually meeting this challenge being rather dim. So here we are at a very decisive point. So this symposium, it seems to me, is something very essential. It's not just about a worldview. It's not just about a concept of politics. It's about whether we can stay on this planet. It's really in question. How do we act in such a way that we can meet the challenge of becoming a positive part, a sustainable part of the tremendous wave of development which has started with the Big Bang and led to the biosphere and led to the forms of life wherever they might happen and occur in the universe. That's a tremendous question. It's a question, can we make it, will we make it? I would like to say, despite of the pessimism that I share in some respects with István Teplan, and I share fully the concept of Nafez Ahmed, of the tipping point that is awaiting us, an absolutely critical tipping point. I would like to say there is a chance that we can meet the challenge. We have an unsuspected help, actually two unsuspected helps. One is the global crisis, the virus crisis. It's a tremendous boost of our chances of surviving on this world. Seems strange, seems a paradox. I'll explain it in a moment. The other one is our sense of cultural change, of cultural evolution. And something here that prompts us, that is coming from science, not directly by scientists telling us that, but by the rationale that we get if you look at what scientists are telling us. And that's something which is, I think, is in us, is deep in us. But science is telling us, if you only look at the consequences of the story that we hear, and that's what is being told us, is that what emerges is that we don't live in a chaotic, chance-based, random universe. We live in a highly coherent universe, a coherence that is not likely to have come about by random interactions in the amount of time that was available, 13.8 billion years since the Big Bang. Not even the DNA of a fruit fly would have come about by chance interactions under any reasonable estimate of those interactions during this time. Einstein said that the most remarkable thing about this universe is that it's coherent, that we can understand it. It's so coherent that there's some aspects of it that we can understand, and that we ourselves exemplify. We are not here by chance. This universe is not here by chance, not through chance interactions. Serendipity doesn't answer. There is something which is in evolution, call it an evolutionary drive or an evolutionary impetus, or what I call it as an attractor in the universe, something which changes the statistics of chance. By chance, the kind of world that we have, food has no exit. We would go down with it. But chance is not the only thing that there is. There is something much deeper than that. I'd like to say a few words about what that is and why that is a chance, why that is our chance. The global crisis in which we still are, that has given us a tremendous option and opportunity of rethinking the so-called business as usual, of trying to see if that's the only way that we can do. Is that human nature? Is that the laws of nature? Is that what the old Darwinist concept of the survival of the fittest, only the strongest survives? Is that the system for politics? Is the concept for politics? Is that kind of a rethinking which is coming about through the global crisis, through the virus crisis, which shows us, on the one hand, that we are all sitting in the same boat, we are all exposed to the same threats and also the same opportunities, and on the other, it shows us that there is more than pure chance underneath this universe. If we had to trust to chance, I think István Teplan would be entirely right. We would have a chance of a snowball in hell to make it out of this tremendous bypass, out of this almost dead end kind of a development that business as usual is taking us into. But there is something more. We wouldn't be here if it was only chance. And I trust that something more is coming to the fore already. As we are challenging the status quo, as more and more people asking, is that what we want? Is there another way? And as more and more young people are coming on the scene that maintain that their sense of belonging to each other, the sense of oneness, which we have heard from Frederick Chow also is present in the Tao, it's probably present in all the great cultures of the religions of the world. This sense that we are belonging together, that ultimately we are united in something which we can describe as a sense of oneness, a sense of belonging, and basically a sense of unconditional, all-encompassing love. Now, this seems very idealistic, but it seems to me that cultural change is happening, and cultural change is the only thing that can take us past this tipping point into a world that's sustainable and that's capable of life and of development.